Hi, and welcome along to ArsenalFanTV. Now, listen, it's a massive game. Arsenal versus Watford. Listen, before you start talking about Chelsea and all these games in the future, we've got to get the job done against Watford. And as we see with every Premier League game, if you take it lightly, you can end up getting done. And that's even by a team like Watford. We remember last year in the FA Cup, I felt that day we took Watford lightly and they beat us at home at the Emirates. I know it was a bit different, they had a big crowd behind them, etc. But you cannot take any team lightly. And this is a big game for Arsenal. We're second in the league. Chelsea are playing against Liverpool away, so you never know. They could drop points up there, which then means if we was to win this game, we could be kind of breathing down their neck going into that game against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. So it's a very, very important game. It's a game where the team has to be up for it. It's a game where the fans have to be up for it. And I know that a lot of us will be going along just thinking standard 3 points, but we've really got to earn the right to win this game. So let's take a look at Watford. They've really been on a slump recently. I mean, start of the season, they were doing okay, but they have really slumped. And, you know, if you look at their recent record, I mean, you know, they lost in the FA Cup at the weekend against Millwall. And even though they played a weakened team, they still had, you know, decent players out there like Troy Deeney, etc. They've only had one win in their last 9 matches, and that was away in the FA Cup against Burton. So you can see that, you know, they're just not clicking at the moment, just not performing at the moment, and it's been very disappointing for the Watford fans. And of course, Arsenal, great record against Watford. We beat them home and away in the Premier League last season. We beat them at Vicarage Road quite comfortably earlier on in the season as well. And we'll be going into the game quite confident. One of the reasons to caution is they've made a new signing in NB Niang, a guy who was linked to Arsenal. He's a very, very good and talented player. And I can kind of see them throwing him in this game because Arsenal is one of the clubs linked with him, so he might want to be out to try and impress Arsene Wenger and the Arsenal hierarchy with a very good performance as he's on loan at Watford until the end of the season. So he'll be a dangerous player. The other danger player is the obvious one, Troy Deeney. He's a leader, he's strong in the air, he's a driven guy, and if you don't shackle him, he will pose all kind of problems for the Arsenal defence. So they're really going to have to be on the money because we know that Troy Deeney is a top player. Arsenal, on the other hand, listen, as I said, it's all to play for in this game. Win this game and, you know, we'll be in a great position. The team will be buoyed by the performance at the weekend, you know, the 5-0 victory over Southampton, the fact that guys like Theo Walcott got a hat-trick, Danny Welbeck returning to form. But I don't think Danny Welbeck will figure. Arsene Wenger was asked about it in his press conference leading up to the game, and his quote is on Danny Welbeck that he has done enough, but we must be cautious. I think it's a bit short after 3 days, so don't expect to see Danny Welbeck in the lineup. I'd be very surprised also to see Theo Walcott in the lineup, even though he scored a hat-trick. And he could be thinking to himself to keep those guys back for the game against Chelsea, because for the game against Chelsea, I'd like to see a front three of Alexis down the middle, Welbeck on one side and Walcott on the other side. Really pacey attack, but I'll come to that when we preview that game. But for this game, we should have enough artillery to get the job done. I'd expect Giroud to come back into it for this game. And as I said, our record against the teams that are like Watford and down at the bottom is very, very good indeed. I mean, the only team of the sort of teams down the bottom to even have taken a point off of us at the Emirates was Middlesbrough in that 0-0 draw that we had with Middlesbrough. But all of the other teams down the bottom, we've dispatched of them. I mean, against the bottom teams, we've played 5 games at the Emirates. 6 games at the Emirates. We've won 5 of them, drawn 1 and lost none of them. So it all bodes well, but we must get the job done at the end of the day. So let me go through what I think the team should be. This is my opinion. You can give your opinion in the comments below as well. But this is what I think the team I would go with for the game against Watford. Petr Cech returning in goal. Bellerin at right back, he's now back fit. And then I'd go Mustafi and Koscielny. Mustafi had a good game on Saturday. Koscielny, we know, is a rock. And Monreal on the left-hand side. And the only reason I'm saying Monreal is because Gibbs has only just come back from fitness, and we know he has a lot of problems with fitness. Otherwise, a fit Gibbs and Monreal, I would have probably edged towards having Gibbs in the team. But for this game, I'll go Monreal. Coquelin I'll bring back in that holding role alongside Aaron Ramsey, who was completely rested as well. There's an argument for putting Ox in there as well after his display in the middle, but I'll go for putting Ox on the right-hand side. For me, he had a great performance at the weekend, and he's a momentum guy. When he has a great performance, keep him in the team, get him out on the right-hand side, and I think he will be very effective in that game, running up against Watford's defence. Ozil back in the number 10 position. On the left-hand side, I go for Alexis, and down the middle, I put Giroud in there. For this game, I think Giroud is a perfect player to have in. Also, defending set pieces, when you're up against, big guys like Troy Deeney, Giroud will really be able to help out a lot. So that's my team. What is your team to start against Watford? I'm really looking forward to the game tomorrow. It's a massive game for Arsenal. If we win this game, it really sets up things brilliantly for that game against Chelsea. So I'm really looking forward to it. Give me your team below and give me your thoughts on it as well. It's Arsenal versus Watford at the Emirates. The referee will be Andre Mariner, and it's going to be a big one.